Hour 2 Overdrive continues, brought to you by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening score to the final line, or the opening line of the final score, whichever one it is. I haven't jammed that one up in a while. I got to start reading the liner again to start each hour. You'd think I'd know it by now. But big hour coming up. Peter Forsberg in studio later this hour. Mike Johnson will join us. We've got Leafs Oilers tomorrow. And the Raptors are back home playing Detroit. Easily the most embarrassing line in 15 years, maybe 30 years.
Don't tell me Detroit is favored by doubles.
They're favored by 2 points tonight. It's being bet towards the Pistons. This is the Detroit Pistons that lost.
Just suck every year.
They're horrendous.
What
they
did
lost
they lose in a row?
29 in a row or whatever. And the team they beat were the Raptors, of course. The Raptors went into Detroit and finally busted the slump for them. But that's how bad it is for the Raptors, that they're at home against Detroit and they're an underdog. That's staggering, man. Yeah. That's staggering.
You want to know what else is staggering? I read on my news and notes going through Twitter. What's staggering about my guy out west, Hayes, Bronny James, he doesn't play G League road games.
That's right. Only at home in the G League.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
What the hell is that?
It's embarrassing is what it is.
Camp. Yeah, it is.
It's a fantasy camp. That's what it feels like.
It's fantasy camp for this kid. Literally.
I know.
What did the big Bron say? Did he say, okay, you can bring him down to the G League, but he's only going to play home games? What are you doing here?
Pretty much exactly what was said. From LeBron or from Rich Paul or someone within his camp said he's not leaving L.A. Like he'll play in L.A. and that's about it.
I think it's embarrassing, and Tyson talking about legacy. I was laughing because we talk about legacy on this show a lot, correct? Like the word legacy.
I love the word legacy, and he hates it. He hates the idea of us talking about it.
Because we talked about Matthews' legacy, McDavid's legacy.
Hayes' big phrase is a legacy play.
It's a legacy play. It's a legacy game tonight.
But I think this type of stuff. This looks bad on LeBron James. I think we all love our children. We want to place our children into, successful situations and have fun and do all of that stuff. But this crosses a line, I think, for me anyways, because, what do his teammates say? You're playing with him in the G League, and I'm only playing home games. I would hate his guts, and I have no idea if he's a good guy or not. He's probably the nicest kid out there, but he's in a tough situation. His dad is, not the best player ever, because MJ is. I'm not a LeBron fan, but other people are. It just, I think it's ridiculous.
I think it is so embarrassing.
It's embarrassing on the kid.
Yes. That's where I'd like to see him step up and say, I can't do this anymore.
For my development, I have to start playing games.
Yes, because you're right about the dynamics in that room. In the pros, LeBron is larger than life. Yeah. And NBAers make so much money, and they don't care about Bronny. And what I mean by that is they're not offended by Bronny. They're not nervous about him. They don't feel like he's a threat to them. So in the NBA, I'd say, hey, Bronny, what's up, man? How's your old man? They probably treat him very well in the NBA, including Lakers players who are like, this guy, he's not going to beat me out of minutes when we're really playing, and I have a fully guaranteed deal.
Non-threat.
It's not a threat.
Right.
In the G League, you'd get young guys who aren't making a lot of money that would resent this guy so much and would look at him and say, I'm better than you, and I got to go on a bus tonight and drive to Oklahoma City or something, and you get to stay in L.A. and go practice with the Lakers.
That's what they say. You get to stay in L.A. and do whatever you're doing. For what?
Yeah, exactly. And you're making more money. I'm making nothing. I'm trying to make a life down here. I'm trying to make my career.
I think he signed an $8 million deal.
Yeah, he did. He got paid a fair amount of money. And, listen, he comes from money. He's going to inherit billions of dollars. Money's not an issue for Bronny, but it is for a lot of guys grinding and trying to get an opportunity. And it's embarrassing that he's not playing road games for the G League.
I just think
embarrassing.
They gave him the ceremonial. You got 2 minutes, and they cut the net down. Where was that?
In Cleveland. cut the net down. That's a troll job.
I thought you were BSing me. That's actually true,
man.
They cut the net down. They cut the net down for him. All of that. Now he goes back to the G League. that to me, it's go. And if you want to be an NBAer, go develop, go play. Don't go down with special treatment. You're getting special treatment because you're, Bronny James. Not, I'm going to set the terms of my special treatment.
Right.
I hate that. I'm sorry.
I think it's crazy, man. I really think it's crazy, crazy stuff. Here's Mike Johnson, our TSN hockey analyst, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. What's happening, Johnny?
That would be a tough sell, boys. It's all about being a good teammate, but try to win that uphill battle with the guys grinding down in the Grand Rapids and wait a second. And in fact, I'm not one to tell how the James family to run their lives because they've obviously got it pretty well figured out. But I think he would be well served if he, as Newell says, if he wants an actual career, and make it last. He'd be well served with you know what? I got to go down there. I got to be one of the guys. I got to go through the grind. I got to get better, and that would mean go play in the minors. So that would be a tough sell whenever he goes down there. I guess the LA road game or whatever he does. That the guy's like, you're not really part of this team. You're not really one of the guys.
Right. We're hitting the road, man. We've got a 10-day road trip. I guess we'll see you later. Have fun and.
They're going to have dinners and parties and all of these things, and he's going to miss out. They're going to be talking about it at the back of the bus. Oh, what a great time we had in wherever, and in Cheyenne, Wyoming, or wherever. And he's going to be like, "What's up, guys?" And they're going to go, "Get the hell out of here!"
Right, you're not a part of this team, man. It's I could understand if I think this is unique, but it's a very unique situation. He's the son of one of the greatest players ever and an icon in LeBron James. If they put some drop dead date down on when he would come back to the Lakers, I could understand that. And that would be, again, unique to him. They're not doing that with any other player. But they said, you're going down there for 3 weeks, and then you're coming back up. We're giving that guarantee to LeBron James and Rich Paul. But that means 3 weeks. Wherever they happen to be, you're a part of it for 3 weeks. So if it's on the road, it's on the road. If it's at home, it's at home. If it's two-a-days, it's two-a-days. If you're running sprints, you run sprints. But the idea of you don't play on the road in the G League is just an absurd detail.
It's embarrassing.
It's really
right from
crazy.
The get-go, right? Didn't LeBron take less than the max slightly by $2 million, essentially so that Bronny could get a guaranteed contract, which second-round picks don't ever get in the NBA.
No. But
he got his $8 million guaranteed, which was essentially what LeBron left on the table in his contract. So, it's like LeBron's playing his kid in some capacity. So, It's a tricky dynamic, and you don't feel bad for Bronny James, but he's, he wants to be a basketball player. He didn't ask for any of this, but he sort of has to go along with it all, understanding that he wouldn't be where he is without, his dad's influence. So that's a tough dynamic.
It is, but think about it. We all have friends whose parents are maybe, successful, have a successful family business, and the kid's like, yeah, I can always go work for my dad, but I want to go to college. I want to start my own business. I want to do something different. And if all that fails, I'll go back into the family business and run it. They know they've got a parachute. It is a little bit different. What's the parachute? The parachute is just there's $1 billion at the end of the tunnel.
Billy Madison. It's Billy Madison. You're at the pool with the boys.
But at some point, shouldn't you stand up and go, I'm sorry, guys, I want to fit in here. I want to go and carve out my own career as a basketball player. Yes, I'm always going to be under the umbrella of the James family, and that's my dad. But you could be a good player and work hard. There's no shame in that. I just don't like the fact that he's accepted that. The dad.
Maybe Jamie had to end this conversation. Maybe he just knows he's not that good, and he's going to have his 3 years of fame here, and then it's all game over.
That may sadly be a reality, where he's like, what am I going to do? Just wherever you're going to play me, and let me cut down the net every once in a while, and let me go on about my business.
That's ridiculous.
That's what I want to see. Bronny with his G League teammates showing him the net in Cleveland. Hey guys, you want to see the net that I scored on?
It's my first point. I have 6 in my career. Yeah.
Crazy. Speaking of points, McDavid hitting 1,000 last night. And we had this conversation yesterday, and Pierre LeBrun said he believes when all is said and done, Pierre will be announcing that Connor McDavid is the greatest hockey player of all time. He will be the GOAT. 10 years from now, Pierre believes McDavid will hold that crown. Do you believe he'll hold that crown? If not, how far up the ladder do you think McDavid can get?
So the challenge, and we've gone kind of down and around this road before, is I think to be the GOAT of all GOATs, you have to do some winning. it can't just be you're the best individual offensive player or the most evolved or whatever, however you want to describe him, which he probably already is. But you have to do some winning, and I don't know if he's going to win 1, 2, 3 Stanley Cups in his next 10 years. Now, do I think he's going to have 2,000 points? I do. Will he be the second highest point total of all time? He will. He already probably is the third best offensive player of all time. Gretz, Lemieux, and him are like 1, 2, 3 just offense. So you start compiling all that. He starts getting those kind of numbers. I think you could say he's probably the best offensive player. But to be the greatest, you got to win Olympics. You got to win Stanley Cups. You got to be, that kind of stuff. And if he doesn't, let's say he doesn't because it's hard to, then I don't know, no matter what else he does, you'll be able to call him the greatest of all time.
So a tough legacy play. We're using the word legacy, Johnny.
Don't tell Mike Tyson, man.
You tell Mike Tyson that.
Oh.
You're dead. You'll be dead. You'll be
no, we're
dust.
nothing. We're dead. We're dust. We're absolutely nothing.
It's a tangent. How many rounds, 2-minute rounds is this going tonight?
Oh,
what are we thinking, boys? I'm thinking.
Johnny, who do you think's going to win?
I think Jake. I want Mike Tyson to win so badly. Like, I want to have some glimpse, big left hook, body shot, just buckle Jake Paul. I would celebrate it so hard.
Yeah.
The man's 60 years old. Like, I know he looks muscular and he's Mike Tyson. I think the kid's gonna win. If it goes past 2 rounds,
Tyson will be so gassed. That's the thing, man. He's gonna come out throwing as many hooks as he can, and my fear is that he does that. Paul knows it's coming, and Paul pops him a couple times, and it gets awkward, and then it becomes like.
Well, that's the other part. What if he gets knocked wobbly?
Yeah.
Like that's not that funny.
No, it's
that's
not,
a 60-year-old man punch drunk getting his head bashed around by a kid who's 28 and who knows what kind of training these guys have been doing for this bout. And that's forget about the legacy. Mike Tyson in his prime, that legacy is fine. It's not, he's not tainting it with this performance. But the spectacle is only funny if Tyson performs well. If he performs poorly or gets hurt, then you feel almost bad for having been interested in it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Exactly. It's got to be a real fight. Like Tyson's got to hit him. Paul's got to be on his heels at some point. But I feel like Paul's going to win tonight.
I'm worried for that too. I want Tyson to win, but we never touched on. And again, we don't really dive deep into boxing. This was pushed back. Didn't he have some sort of medical episode on a plane or something like that?
Tyson did. That's right.
Tyson. That's what I mean.
That's right.
Like a kidney or he's like he had like some sort of like liver issue or something. Stuff that happens when you're 58.
Right.
Not when you're 28, right?
That's what's scary, man. It's like you get these old guys. Like remember George Foreman kept going in the ring, and you're like, George, what are you doing, man? You got the grill now. You're making grill money.
So much money, have
Stop with the fights.
But
you got the grill money.
Who did Holyfield fight and it wasn't good? Wasn't that Jake Paul? Did he fight? I think he fought. Holyfield fought one of like an up and comer or a YouTuber or something, and it didn't look good.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing.
That's my concern.
But the thing is, and I'm going to come back to what O said at the start of the show because maybe deep down I want this or I'm believing it. Holyfield, whoever else, George Foreman, they're not Tyson. Like Tyson is, he's a different animal. Like he's just I think if there was rules, if there was a handshake rule that, hey, you know what, don't knock me out, don't do this. It might go out the window if he gets punched in the face and gets pissed off and doesn't. The guy bit a guy's ear off.
Well,
you know what I mean?
That's the kind of prop I'd be looking for. Like, does he try to not bite his ear? He's not going to do that again, I don't think. But does it get ugly? Does he kick the guy if he's getting beat?
Headbutt, whatever it takes.
A strong headbutt. Like that would even the fight out pretty quickly, man.
I'm no boxing historian, but it's not like Tyson was good at the end of respectfully.
No.
At the end of his career, he wasn't great.
No, he wasn't.
Like he lost his last 4 of his last 6 fights.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not like he was the Tyson that we think of even 15, 18 years ago, 20 years ago. So it's been so. He's like 60 years old. 60. Can you imagine? Whatever, you guys are all around 45 to 50.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you imagine 10 years, 15 years from now? getting into a fight with a professional? Like, I know it's Mike Tyson, but yeah, I don't know. I love that it's free and on Netflix. I'll be watching it.
It'll be wild tonight. I'm with you.
Crazy scene.
I'm with you.
Dallas Stadium and everything. That's going to be fun. But, I hope it's a good show, because if it's not, it sort of makes a mockery of the whole thing again, which the sport can only take so many hits. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Jake Paul's the biggest star, and we're not even sure if he's a real boxer.
That's the whole thing. Like, I think if you're Jake Paul, you need it to be a good fight, because people are calling him out. Like, why are you fighting this guy? Why don't you fight someone legit? And it's like he can't, because he's worried about how that might go. But, we'll see what comes of it tonight. Again, Leafs Oilers tomorrow. No Matthews. And, Domi's dealing with something. He didn't skate again today, but Berube said he'll be playing. Domi's got to get on the board, man.
I was going to ask you guys.
He's got to score a goal here.
Well, I mean, he had that breakaway. It was a nice save there by Logan Thompson with the glove. But what do you guys make of it? Like, he's usually like a pass-first guy. I mean, Johnny, you're up close and personal. This guy, on a 2-on-1, he's always looking to pass. Like, he's an unselfish player that way, right? But what do you do? Does he have 5 points on the season or 6? Like, I don't think it's a lot, right?
6 assists, yeah.
6 in the first 6 games. None since.
Right. And they played 18 games, man. This is deep in the season now.
What does he need to do? He had a slow start last year and then really came on.
Yes.
When Max Domi's at his best, Johnny, Brian, what do you see from him? Like,
playing the wing first and foremost? He's on the wing.
That's the confusing thing about this, because if I pulled his games and showed you a bunch of clips, I don't know if there's a lot of games where I could show you that he played terrible. He always seems to be skating. He always seems to make plays with the puck. It's just there's no production. So how do you really explain that, Johnny?
So here's my thoughts about this, and I'm with you. Like, when he plays in the wing, he has to play with good players, right? If he's a pass-first guy, you need guys to pass the puck to that can then shoot it into the net. And, I think he got in such a good rhythm with Austin Matthews, he almost became more of a pass-first guy last year. But, I mean, I look at it like this. He's not getting any sort of power play time, right? Which, can help every player pick up some cheapies on the power play. He doesn't get any of that in the second unit. He is fast. He's one of the faster players on the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he's good off the rush, right? He's very creative. He's good. He's a good passer. He's flat out a good passer. The Leafs get nothing on the rush in their game anymore. Virtually nothing off the rush. So you're taking one of his strongest suits, and you're sort of minimizing what he does well because of the new style they're playing. It's all sort of cycling, grindy stuff, which he's not quite. He's fine at, but he's not as good at as when he's going off the rush. And I think, to his credit, he is a much better defensive player now than he was. And he's worked at it. And I think he feels that he's trying to be diligent defensively, especially when he has to play in the middle, that it's sort of not an instinctive offensive game now. And then bad bounces, like he's hit 3 posts. He had the point-blank one on Omar 2 games ago, had a breakaway last game. And it's a confidence thing. Like, plays that he would make, goals that he would score when he feels a bit better about the way things are going, they're not going right now. And so you put all that together, and all of a sudden it's a real thing. And without Matthews in the lineup, he becomes that much more important because he has to play in the middle, right? They don't want, like, William Nylander practiced in the middle today because Max Domi wasn't around. They clearly want no part of Willie in the middle. They've tried it. They've carked it many, many times. There is no other option if Matthews is hurt to play second-line center. So they need him to sort of find his game as best he can, and he's fighting it, Noodles. It's just a confidence thing and some system thing and some, all that stuff sort of goes together, and I think it's the longest drought of his career without a point that he's on right now.
Yeah, it is a wild stat considering the other guys playing up the middle of the ice. Tavares has been scoring. Tavares has been really good. He was great the other night. David Kampf hasn't scored a goal, and Pontus Holmberg has not scored a goal. So you have a scenario here where Matthews was not red hot. Matthews had 5. He wasn't dominating offensively either, and now he's missed the last 5 games. And 3 of the 4 remaining centers have literally not scored, and the Leafs are 10-6-2.
It's crazy.
That seems almost impossible.
Now, what are you going to do to up that production, though? Because it's not like you can say work harder and do it. It's about, like, you have to produce. Do you know what I mean? You can only draw up so many X's and O's. And, Johnny, we've touched a bunch on the rush chances, but, I mean, sooner or later you got to do it. But if Max isn't putting up offense, how much more are you going to get out of David Camp and Pontus Holmberg, Hayes? Like,
well, not much.
Not much.
No, not much.
If they switch jerseys, like if if they just switched jerseys, could you tell a difference between the two of them?
Camp and Holmberg?
Yes.
Yeah, the only reason I could say yes is his Camp is heavier. Holmberg gets knocked around a little bit.
But Holmberg
a little sturdier.
Yeah, I think Holmberg looks he's a little shorter but like
a little thinner.
But they're the same player. Like I don't think that's a good thing. Like I think there's, if that player, if it fits a role, you have one of them. You don't have two. Mm-hmm. Unless that's the thing where Holmberg is interesting for me because if you're going to have Camp, I don't think Holmberg separates himself on any front. If he's a great skater or a great checker or super physical or he's 6'5" and runs people through the boards, he's just a player. And you already got that in David Camp, who, takes draws and plays, penalty kill, all of that type of stuff. So to me, you've got twins there instead of just having one to plug into your bottom six.
We talked about it last week, that whole fourth line, they work hard, they can get it in, they can muck it around, and it goes around the yellow. But as far as offensively producing, I really don't know what you're expecting. I know the coach likes to make them feel a part of the team, but if you're just literally going to be three bodies out there that move up and down the ice with little happening, with basically little chance to score, I don't know. Like there's got to be a way to have some kind of balance where you can create momentum, you can be physical, but you got to chip in once in a while, man.
Well, you do.
Well, I mean, Steven Lorentz has 3 goals, which is the most of all those guys down the bottom, right?
Well, yes, he's the one guy that does chip in the odd time.
And he had to play in the middle at some point, which again, and the Leafs, I think the broader picture is the Leafs are actually doing quite well, given that they're not really operating at max capacity yet, right? As you outlined it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Robertson, right? He's got 1 goal and 1 point this year. This was the year he's supposed to get 25. And even Bobby McMahon, who's had a good couple games, he went 10 games without a goal. So there is other stuff there. But when you looked at that lineup the other night against Washington, the top 6, okay, yep, those are your top 6. The bottom 6, you're like, there's not a chance we're going to get a goal out of – not a chance, but it's very unlikely we're getting any offense out of these guys. It was stark, the depth production that you could expect from those guys. Yeah, they play hard, for sure, and they play defense, and they battle, and they kill penalties and all those things, but if you think you're getting scoring, like if you look at Winnipeg, the best team in the league, now that's the best team, their third-line guys all have 14 points.
Yeah.
Lowry and Appleton and Niederreiter, they have 5-6 goals and 14 points. And the Leafs might have 14 points combined from all 6 players on their bottom 2 lines. So it's a challenge, but they need Matthews healthy. They need Domi going. They need Robertson going. They need everything to work out for them to be a little bit more threatening. Because right now, these guys play hard, and they're pretty good defensively. I'll give them credit for that. They don't get, running around and in trouble, but they don't really threaten very often.
Does a Pacioretty injury have a bigger ripple effect?
It shouldn't, but you're onto something, Noodles. I thought about it.
Well, I was thinking about that the other night because I just talked about the 2 players the same. Pacioretty's different. He's a good skater, powerful skater. He was playing physical. You noticed him, and he could chip in with some goals. To me, him coming out of the lineup, all of a sudden they're trying to find something else there, and Dewar comes in. Dewar might be the triplet of the 3 of them.
Fourth line guy, exactly.
Right? I don't know. I think the Pacioretty injury might have a little more ripple effect than we thought.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, well, and it's slotting because now Bobby McMahon is a third liner. Yeah, okay. Skates fast, he can chip in. You play him with Max Domi on the third line. Okay, there's some things that could potentially happen. But with Pacioretty going down, that's exactly it. Now you got to move McMahon up, and he's serviceable up top. He works hard and is pretty efficient, but the backfill is not available. The depth is not available. I guess I don't know what Alex Steves is. I know he scores a lot in the minors. I don't know how good he is in the NHL, but they're searching because there's holes and there's opportunity for something from the bottom part of the lineup. But listen, I'll give them full credit though. I thought there was no chance they're going to win that Washington game. After 2 periods, I'm like they got nothing. They're cooked. They got no energy at all.
Yeah,
they stayed with it. They didn't sort of cheat the game. They grinded it out and they found a way to win. That was a pretty impressive win. That was
most impressive of the year, in my opinion. More than Winnipeg, more than that Tampa game, because I saw it the same way. And 2 goals called back that I think they thought should have been good goals. That could be demoralizing too.
Well, John Carlson had one called back that should have been a good goal too.
I agree.
But
I agree.
You guys, I'm sure, talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, we don't need to get back into it.
That was ridiculous.
But it was goofy. But it was a very impressive win the other night. By the way.
And not just the win, Hayes, but how they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't Nylander and Marner freelancing because they can and trying to do it individually because they can and have before. They stuck with the game plan, even though nothing was going on, and they still found a way. Now, Washington wasn't very good, but credit where credit's due. That was
absolutely
that was a good game, especially coming on the heels of such a tough one against Ottawa the night before.
Absolutely. Johnny, we started the show with my belief that the Edmonton Oilers will be at the Taylor Swift show tonight. You've had a lot of road trips in your NHL career. Could you see that being the case? Could you see the Oilers being in attendance?
Well, they just tweeted out a pic of landing in Toronto.
Right. I'll bet you they got a box and they're there tonight.
I bet they have a box, and I have a box for their families.
Yes.
Yeah. I bet because Connor and Leon and their ties to Toronto and all the guys, Zach and Adam Henrique and all these guys that are from around here, I bet they have a box in the in the building where they have 40 or 50 people there, and whether they bankroll it or the team, 100%, I would imagine they're at the game.
I agree.
Or at the game, at the concert.
I agree. They're going to be there. I can't handle it, man, but it's the truth.
I
don't.
No
grubby bars and beers with the boys.
I'm sniffing around my contacts. I'm going to see if they're going. Like, I'm gonna sniff around and see if I can get by the end of the show.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be a healthier place to go than what some other alternatives might be in Toronto on a Friday night?
Absolutely. There's a few places that could get you in serious trouble in this town. That one won't. That one won't.
I wouldn't hate that. If I'm the team, your families are in town. It's 3 hours or something long, or 4 hours long, so you're there the whole night.
Perfect.
You get home at 10:30. You stroll right to the Ritz-Carlton. You're right there. So, and guys, hey, we talked about where's Taylor Swift staying in Toronto?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the clip of her getting a police escort down the Gardner?
Oh, yeah.
Of course. We broke it down.
But that looked to me, she's not coming from somewhere downtown. She's not coming from the Ritz-Carlton or the St. Regis or from Yorkville. You wouldn't go to the Gardner from Yorkville. She's clearly got to be saying, I think she's up in the Bridle Path.
It could be.
They probably have a house for her.
Someone was saying that maybe the whole crew, she rented out the hotel down there. That's connected. That's in the park. Yeah, that's in the Rogers Center.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that hotel, the whole hotel is hers. Now, I don't know if she's staying there, but her crew is.
Well, where are they coming east?
I don't know, man.
From the east.
Well, that Johnny, just to clarify, that's when
she
she landed at the airport. That was her taxi.
New York, Pearson, 427, Gardner, shut down traffic.
Look at the poor bastards on the right side just sitting in
way.
traffic.
I hear you, Johnny.
She was coming from the east, not from the west. If she was coming from the 427, she would have been coming the other way.
So she was maybe coming down the Parkway then. I don't know, man. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe you're right.
I'm trying to figure out the traffic.
Could be at Drake's house. Could be at Drake's house. Maybe she's got Drake's house for the whole week. Next 2 weeks. Possible. All right, Johnny. Enjoy yourself this weekend.
All right, boys. Have a good weekend.
You too. There's Mike Johnson, our TSN Hockey analyst, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. Check out Maple Toyota's huge truck and SUV lineup, including Tundra, 4Runner, Highlander, and Grand Highlander in stock and ready to deliver. Visit mapletoyota.com.
They're going 100%. I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, man.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
and
because someone tipped you
wives
off
and girlfriends. I have no idea who is going to the show or when they're going. I'm just saying, the Oilers, they flew in. They're here. They're playing tomorrow. There's no way McDavid, Draisaitl, their wives, girlfriends,
Nurse.
Nurse. Yeah. It's like, hey, we're coming too, and you know what's up. you're getting seats. Like, you're getting tickets or you're getting a box. Like, you could bank on it,
I can't wait
man.
till this is shot down. I
saw
can't
that.
wait.
It's
Was
happening.
it last year?
The
It
Leafs
might
will
have
be
been
there, too. Make no mistake if they
Exactly.
weren't there last night. The Leafs aren't too cool for Taylor Swift.
I'm telling
Believe
you,
me.
exactly. Matthews would be in a box
Craig
there.
Berube.
No, that we still have to make our list.
Yes,
the
we will.
top 5 people from
Who we want
Toronto
to see
who would
there.
be there.
Who we want to see there. Well, we want to see you up at the Boston Pizza in Vaughan next week. Next Wednesday, we're going to be there, all right? We have another trivia question here, and then the phone lines will be open at 416-870-1050. There was a time when there was a man roaming the streets of Toronto that was defecating all over the streets.
He's throwing it at people.
And throwing it at people. That's worthy of shutting streets down and getting security.
Yes.
Right? That's worthy of it. And the O-Dog wanted to fight justice or bring justice to this individual, and he went by the name of the Constipator. You were known as the Constipator at one point.
Yes.
What was the Constipator's infamous catchphrase? Whoever remembers their...
I know it.
You could probably say it by now.
Yeah.
4-1... Go ahead.
The crap stops here.
The crap stops here. 416-870-1050. I'm sure Boston Pizza loves being affiliated with the Constipator. But the first one in, but just yell out that catchphrase to Doogie. You're going to check out the show next Wednesday up at Boston Pizza. All right, we're going to have another pair of tickets in the 6 p.m. hour to give away. And we also have the Leaf tickets, right? Where's Al's brother? We'll get to that at some point this afternoon, too. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4. All right, Luke Wilson, Al's brother, coming up in half an hour. Dear Hazy B in an hour. Our best bet still to come. More tickets. The most coveted tickets in the city to see Overdrive live at the Boston Pizza up in Vaughan. And Melanin Friday, of course, is brought to you by Boston Pizza. So we look forward to that. We cannot wait to give away more tickets. We're giving away Leaf tickets. We got a lot cooking this afternoon. But the great Peter Forsberg joined me in studio earlier this afternoon. He's doing the rounds. I think he's going to a game tonight in Kitchener. He'll be at the Leaf game tomorrow. He went into the Hall of Fame a decade ago.
That's crazy.
I could not believe that. I could not believe it. And he's got a new product out. He looks great, feels great. He joined me earlier today, and I began by asking Peter Forsberg, can he believe it's been 10 years since he went into the Hall of Fame?
No. No, is it 10 years
10
ago?
years. You went in 2014.
Oof, I retired in 2011. I remember that in February sometime, but okay, 2014. Yeah, I guess time flies.
It sure does.
When you have fun.
Yeah, no kidding, man. And it's great to see you. And obviously, you've got a lot going on. You're in town. You're going down to the Leaf game tomorrow night. And is that the plan?
Yeah, first I go to a junior game. I think it's Kitchener against Barrie.
Yep.
Part of an agency, so we got a player there in Barrie, so I'm going to go see him. And then, of course, when I'm here, Edmonton is in town, and then we'll be a good, nice game against the Maple Leafs. So I have to make it that before
Absolutely.
I fly out to the West Coast.
Okay, and McDavid, have you seen him live?
I have not. I have not seen him live. So it's, but I have played against him because we had the NHL 100 best, and then we had a game there in LA.
Right.
And the other team got him on the, so I had to take the face off and play against that. That was a little unfair.
Was he flying at that point?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he hit 1,000 points last night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I don't feel that bad. I got a hooking penalty on him, but I guess that's, I'm not the only guy that got hooking penalties.
That's right, man.
1,000 points, and I saw them. He's 600-something games. So
incredible.
He says flies out there, so it's good. It'll be fun to see him tomorrow.
Yeah, it's always fun when he rolls through town, and the Leafs are playing pretty well, and obviously you're one of the great Swedish players of all time, and you'll be seeing William Nylander play tomorrow. And I'm curious because I've seen different lists, and some people writing out of Sweden. A lot of people over here kind of fascinated with the idea of rankings and all that. And we have the Four Nations face-off this year, and then we're back in the Olympics with NHL players in 26. Some people think Willie's the best Swede going right now. Would you have Nylander at the top of your list?
Well, I have him as the top. They asked me before the year who I thought was going to be the Swedish scoring champion. I think Nylanders have a good shot, so I said him. Bratt is scoring a lot, and Pettersson is up there, but I think William has got some good players around him too. And then I saw him at the last year with the Global Series. I was really impressed. I think it's been taking a couple of steps here in the last couple of years too. So when I look to offense, he has to be really good for Sweden if we're going to go to the finals and if you have a chance to win.
Absolutely. Peter Forsberg with us, sir. I mean, you played a lot of international hockey. Is Sweden ready for it to return best on best? It's been like a decade since we've seen it.
I don't know if we're. I thought about it before, and I look at the offensive squad. I think we're not that big. We're pretty small when it comes to the best guys. Nylander and Bratt and Elias Pettersson and a few others. So they have to be really fast and then skilled if we're going to go far. And if you look at some other teams, they'll get some meat on their teams. Bigger boys. So. We'll see how it goes. It's a small rink, and it's played over here in the North America. So, I don't know. I don't see Sweden as favorites. I don't. No. I think look at Canada first, maybe U.S. and Sweden and Finland. It's third there, but it's a short tournament. You never know what's going to happen. But looking in before like this, I think Canada, U.S. are the favorites.
How much did you cherish the opportunity to play for your country? Because you did it at every level: World Juniors, World Championships, the Olympic Games. How much pride do you take in that?
I think I played almost every time I had a chance. Maybe one time I said no, it was 94, because I was going to go over here and play NHL, and we made it to the final in Sweden. But every other time I played. So I played 4 Olympics, and I played 5 World Championships. So I loved going over, and it's always about winning the last game of the year. Right. I got knocked out of the NHL playoffs, and then it was, okay, do you want to go? I'm like, sure, I'll go.
Yeah, you'd always accept.
Yeah, I think in '98 too. It's kind of funny. I think me and Mats got knocked out kind of the same time, and I remember he called me, "Are you going?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going." It's like, okay, I'll go too. Then. And then we ended up winning the championship. So,
right.
No, I think for him, Mats too. I won with him '92 in the Worlds, and I won '98, and then won the Olympics with him '06. So it's always great. He used to go over and play. And sometimes in the Worlds, you don't have to play that long either to win the championship. You can. One year I went to the quarterfinals and played 3 games to win the World Championship. I'll take that any day.
That's pretty good. You get a medal out of it, 3 games. Yeah. Peter Forsberg with us. You had 31 points, the World Juniors in '93. 31 points. Who were you playing where you were racking up 31 points? I think you had 26 assists.
Yeah, no, we had a good line there, and then. I don't know. Well, we played Japan also.
How many points do you have?
I think I had 1 goal and 9 assists against Japan. So, but on the other hand, I only had 2 against Germany and the U.S. I think I had 4 against Finland, 4 against Canada, 4 against U.S. I mean, not the U.S. I think Czech, and 5 against Russia. So it was not only the bad teams. There was, but I looked at afterwards. Yeah, I think me and Marcus, especially, I think we're. By that time, we were actually pretty good.
You guys were leaning on the opposition.
We could have scored more, I think, too, if you look at all the chances. But most of that I remember that tournament, we lost to Canada 5-4, and we got the silver. It was home in Sweden. It was still a bad taste when we left the tournament that we didn't win.
Absolutely. With Peter Forsberg, and you won a couple of cups. You obviously won all these international events. And in '06, we had Mats in here a few weeks ago. Mats was in town with. He's plugging his book and talking about his book, and he never got the Stanley Cup, but I remember how much pride he took in that '06 win in particular, and the ability to go back to Sweden, and you guys kind of partied a little bit, I think. How would you compare, like, winning a cup, going back to Denver, winning a gold medal, going back to Sweden?
No.
How would you compare the 2 parties?
No, it's good. Well, yeah, Matt's party more than I did.
Yeah, of course.
Get that straight.
Yeah.
I think it was, if I remember this correctly, it was before the final there, and then the Swedish Federation told us that you cannot go back to Sweden tomorrow. Sorry, it's a closing ceremony. You're not going to be able to fly out. And remember on the bus, like, okay, let's just not talk about it. If we win, we're going to fix it. And I think it was like 5 minutes after the horn, and we won, and then Matt's just grabbed him, like, make sure we're going home. I went right over to the federation there, the chairman. I was like, you're going to have to fly us home tomorrow. He's like, and then he's looked at me like, okay, I get it done. Yeah. So we flew out the next day, and we got at least 1 day in Sweden. And going back to the question you asked before, it was going back to Sweden. There's like 40, 50,000 people at least waiting for you, and then they flew you in with the jets, and then the people stopping, going with the bus from the airport downtown. I think that's one part that I wanted to be in the national team to win. Mm-hmm. I just get the feeling to come home and everybody's cheering you on. So, and it was great to win the Olympics with Mats and Lidström and Alfredsson and the Sedin twins. We played together for a long time, and then the kind of the last chance for us to win the Olympics too, because the next time we were going to be like 36, 37, we're not going to be that good. So And then we got to win, with 1 goal against Finland there, so it's awesome.
Yeah, and you beat the Finns too. That probably adds to it.
No, it adds a bit, but I have to be honest, that doesn't really matter who we beat.
Yeah, you take anyone. Japan, if you have.
I would absolutely. I would no problem.
Peter Forsberg with us. So Aycane is it a relatively new company, like player protection? And like I've been looking at the website. I had access to some of the stuff this morning. I was checking it out. Men's, women's, youth. Like, take me through the process here as to why you got involved, why you think it's important, this next wave of, like, player protection underneath the equipment. We're talking, like, long johns, long sleeves, socks, stuff like that. And tell us a little bit about the product and why you have a passion for it.
It started 2020, this Aycane. And to be honest, I invested in a few companies, and you sit in board meetings, and it could be a real estate or construction, and you feel like you don't contribute too much in the boardroom.
Right.
And I'm like, I had to get back into hockey. So I bought into a hockey agency, and then I got an opportunity to be part of this Aycane, hockey. I would say from underwear, everything. And with the brothers, they ran a ski clothing company out of Switzerland. Actually, it was in Zug. So, and they were always premium and innovative. So. And one of the brothers just absolutely loves hockey. So they said, do you want to be part of this company, Aycane? And we're going to be, premium. We're going to do the best things, not cheap, but it's going to be the best. And I'm like, okay, that's perfect. I think that's kind of what the industry needs. And then I think it's been a great journey. Like you said, not only men, it's women, it's everything. And then the cut resistant is doing really well.
That's big right now. Because that's scary stuff. Did you ever have any issues with that where you took a blade off, like back of your leg, arms, anything like that? Or?
Well, yeah, I got cut one time actually up in Winnipeg, and then I had to get stitched, and then
scary, man.
Yeah, and to be honest, I didn't even feel it back then. It was just bleeding on the bench, and all of a sudden, like, it's you, Peter. I'm like, me? I had no clue.
Really?
And then I got 10 stitches on the leg, but obviously, it happened last a couple of years ago, 1 year ago, in England there when I think I had him there died, and then that's
scary stuff.
So scary, and so I think it's I think it has to be part of NHL too here pretty soon, and I think it's great for us to be leading the innovation when it comes to cut resistant stuff, and we're not only doing that, we're still doing the whole line.
You got some cool stuff, man. You got cool T-shirts and hats and everything.
I wear.
You're wearing one right now.
I wear it all the time. Not only on the ice.
Absolutely. Well, because you're seeing a lot of players in the league now wearing neck guards, and like Willie, we were talking about Nylander. Nylander at practice today was wearing one.
Yeah.
And when you came into the league, it was like, you're going to wear a visor. Well, now everyone wears a visor, and if you wore the idea of any player, I'm sure in your era wearing a neck guard, you would have got crucified on the ice. Like, people would have just been crushing you.
Yeah.
It feels like the game has really evolved from that standpoint where players understand, like, safety should be a priority as opposed to, how tough you want to look or your pride on the ice or whatever it might be.
I'm as old as the McDavid did. I don't think he had a helmet.
No helmet.
When he played in St. Louis.
No helmet.
No helmet. So your grandfather did. He was still playing. So.
Right.
And to be honest, with the materials nowadays, it's not that like a dog cage you're running around with or anything.
Right.
But it's good material. It's not as heavy. You can barely feel it. So I think the player's going to be okay with it. And I said it before too. NHL, you do have ambulances. You have personnel around you so can save you. But going down to juniors or girls playing sometimes too, they don't have that. So I think that they would be a great example if they would wear it too. I think AHL have it already. So I don't think it's. I hope not only for my company or the companies that does it. I think it's just good for the whole sport.
Absolutely, for the sport. For sure. Peter Forsberg in here. And like, you got young kids. Are they old enough to realize how great of a player you were? Do you force them to watch YouTube clips of you doing things back in your day?
No, they don't care.
They don't care at all?
No, I think both... They're kind of retired. I had two sons, but they're 12 and 8, but they don't like hockey. They play more soccer. And
really?
Yeah. So, no, I forced them kind of for a while to play hockey, but they're not really into it. So, but they don't know. They didn't watch me play.
It's funny how so many guys say that. Like, because again, Matt's was in, and Matt's like, I'm writing this book so my kids can read about it and realize I was actually a really good player. And I mean, you guys are living over in Europe, so the Hall of Fame, I'm sure it's not something you can just bring your kids down ever. But I mean, you're it's got to be pretty cool, the amount of stuff that's online from your playing days, because you still did play in an era where you can find that kind of stuff, and your kids and your family, your friends, whoever can say, I can throw a tape on and actually watch you play a game.
No, it's YouTube. It's actually
absolutely.
You've seen the highlight clips. It's actually cool, but. To be honest, if I would put it on, they would switch it to Messi or Ronaldo.
Not doing
right
it.
away.
They're into soccer anyway.
Get out of there, Daddy. To be honest, we're actually in Switzerland now too, so not too many people know who I am there. So it's actually.
Do you like that, like getting away and like what's it like when you come over here? Like if you're at the Leaf game or in a junior rink tonight, if you're in Kitchener, everyone knows Peter Forsberg over here. He didn't even play in Toronto, and everyone knows who you are.
I don't know how it's going to be. In Sweden, obviously, I've been not only doing hockey, I've commentating, I do TV shows and that. People don't even know I played hockey anymore back home. But
crazy.
But in Switzerland, nobody. Maybe if they follow hockey, they would know the name, but they would never recognize me or anything. They'd be like, okay. So it's a good place to be. It's actually an awesome country to live in.
Absolutely. Well, listen, best of luck with this. Again, it's Aycane. You can find Aycane.com. There's the Canadian website as well. You can find stuff for men, women, youth, cut protection, all types of different accessories. So good luck with this, and enjoy Kitchener tonight. Enjoy the Leaf game tomorrow, and thank you for doing this.
Perfect. Thank you.
There he is, the Hall of Famer, Peter Forsberg, man. He's got styles.
That guy was the real deal, man.
Oh, yeah, dude. He's still he's tall, too. He's got, he's a big boy. And, he perfected that, stop up, hit, and reverse type move.
Oh, yeah.
The reverse hit. He buried a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And I was watching some of his YouTube clips, the amount of slashing and hooking and
oh my God,
the clutching and grabbing. And
I'll never forget Paul Maurice saying, okay, you're up. Defensive zone face-off, and out came Forsberg, not by himself, with Sakic and Kamensky. And I was just like, this could get ugly in a hurry. But
you're ready.
You got no choice, man. But you let those guys get circling around, you are in massive trouble.
Big time. All right, we got to fly here. We got other stuff we got to get to. We got stuff we got to give away. We got Luke coming up. We got Dear Hazy B. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4. Mail It In Fridays brought to you by Boston Pizza's new game day menu. Stop by your local BP for $7 touchdown pints, shareables for the whole crew, and weekly prizing up for grabs. Football game days are better at your local BP. We have another pair of tickets to give away next hour for a show at Boston Pizza Vaughn next Wednesday. So we'll get to those. We've got Leaf tickets as well. Where's Al's brother at? Somewhere in the city. No one can figure this one out. No one has a clue where Al's brother is hiding.
I'm doing it next week, by the way.
Okay. He'll take over the whole operation. And Al's brother was just in here. We're going over our plans. We have picks forthcoming. Luke will join us in the next hour, and Al's brother coming up. Dear Hazy B as well. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050, soon to be up on TSN 2.